What's up, dudes? Max here, and just the other day we got our first glimpse of what the Street Fighter V story mode is going to look like. We also got a glimpse at the release date, which is going to be coming up in around June or the summertime of 2016. So the initial launch of the game will not have the full story mode, which is a little disappointing, but it kind of makes sense that they're trying to get the game out and ready before a certain time frame, because as we know, and we've talked before, a lot of the big Capcom games, or fighting games specifically, tend to drop around February or March almost all the damn time, meaning that many of the characters that are going to be available as DLC will be coming throughout the next year of the game being out, and then story mode will come later in summer. Are you going to have to pay more for it? No, all this stuff is free if you purchase the game, which is a nice thing. A lot of people are disappointed that this doesn't come initially with the package, but it does seem fairly apparent that Street Fighter V is going to be a little bare bones at the start, and then it's getting its bulk of content over time. Once again, another big similarity to Killer Instinct, which was kind of released in pieces over time. Now, the other big change that's going to be happening to Street Fighter V story mode is that early on we're going to get these kind of story sequence cutscenes, or something that you might have remembered when you had that training thing fire up when you went into the beta. They're not really cutscenes as much as they're moving artwork, and they're okay looking. I'm not too excited about the style because I know this artist and he's extremely good, and he has other styles for other Capcom games that look a lot better. So I'm not too sure exactly what's going on here, but I'm very much looking forward to seeing what Street Fighter V can do with a fully cinematic story mode. Is it going to be something as big and as robust as something like Mortal Kombat X? And I don't think so, even though you might not like the general story to MKX, and it might just be kind of throwaway and a retelling of MK4. There is a lot of production value, and it was really fun when you did get a chance to play it, and it's pretty damn long too, clocking it at around 6 hours. I'm gonna say that Street Fighter V story mode is gonna be probably around like the 5 to 6 hour mark, just considering the time frame they've had to work on it, and I've had the time frame to work on story mode for something like Killer Instinct. Even though we were a small crew, this stuff does take a lot of damn time to get focused and finalized. But how much are they going to integrate the game into it? We saw the little bit they were doing with the tutorial, but are they going to actually influence like gameplay things into the story mode where you actually have to learn how to use Ryu or a specific character, etc., etc.? Or are they just going to do like it was with MKX, kind of haphazardly and random who you choose according to the story, and then it just focuses on them and moves from there? I'd be okay with both, in all honesty. I do really want to see the eventual true evolution of a story mode, and I've talked about this many damn times before, where you get a big budget for a fighting game and the story mode actually teaches you how to play the damn game, just like any other video game does, where Mario needs to make a very long jump. You learn to run and then jump. Well, maybe if you need to learn how to stop your opponent from throwing you, the game will teach you how to tech throws. Things like that, small little things like that. I'm not too sure if it's going to go into that depth, but I'm very hopeful that it does. Now let's talk about quickly the story elements. We got previews of all the main characters amongst the roster here. There are some mystery characters that show up a couple of times that we don't know exactly who they are or who they could be, but there is some speculation going on right now. But the big one is that the overall arc or plot is that Shadowloo has this giant mechanical ball of some kind that shoots into space, causes an eclipse, and blows up, causing a pulse that removes electricity from an entire city and causing a bunch of dank destruction. Sounds like Bad Guy Plot 101, I know, but what I'm kind of thinking is that there could be a mysterious kind of character actually inside that orb that they're going to release in space and is going to come down and totally wreck the crap out of everybody. It could be Gil, it could be some sort of hint towards the Illuminati. We do see the fact that Charlie has the Illuminati symbol on his forehead. We do see the fact that Urien is going to make an appearance in the game, so I'm a little curious that this could be a reveal of a bigger boss character. And even though we do have a bigger connection to Necalli does seem connected to Ryu in some way right now. Just as much as we saw Necalli being like this big focused character, it seems like he's the last boss of the game. And even though he wasn't revealed as kind of being the last boss or a bad guy in any way, he's absolutely connected to the Dark Hado in some way, and by connection also kind of attached to Ryu and his spirituality, etc., etc. We're going to be seeing a lot of different character combinations and how characters work together, and I'm really hoping that they do something very cool with that, something big and epic. And I'm not too sure if the entirety of the story is going to drop at one point or it's going to be like piecemeal where they're going to do the first part in 2016. There's a small chance it could be that, just to get a bigger addition of story later on, because we did get a glimpse of an evolved version of a character in the reflection of Cammy's eye, and it was actually DECAPRE, and everyone picked up on this really quick, and it's up there for like almost 2 or 3 frames. It's super brief, but it does look like DECAPRE, and there is some images of DECAPRE with a different mask in the comic books that looks strikingly similar. So there's even stuff that isn't even planned that's in the game right now that is going to make an appearance in summer that isn't even for the rest of 2016. So it's a little interesting. They're trying to give us some news, hints, and hopes at the future of Street Fighter V DLC, including story mode expansions, etc., etc. But even if that's true, like, we even just played a big-ass fighting game story mode thing with Mortal Kombat X not that long ago, and that had a ton of cameos of characters that people wanted to appear in the game and totally aren't appearing in the game, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just don't even make it at all. As always, dudes, thank you a ton for watching. Thank you for hanging out. Street Fighter V Story Mode is looking like probably the biggest story thing that they've ever done for Street Fighter in one of the actual games, which is why I'm excited about Street Fighter V, because it doesn't have an arcade version. Almost every version of Street Fighter in the past has been a port of its arcade counterpart with a little bit more stuff added on, and then over time they come up with the Super and the Ultra and the arcade editions. This is the first time that Street Fighter V is treated as a console game, meaning that it gets big things like this early in its development, and Street Fighter V wasn't even announced that long ago, if you think about it. So it's kind of awesome that all this stuff is coming along and coming into the game this quickly. But let me know what you guys think about the story mode so far. It looks pretty cool from the trailer. I hope we get another story mode trailer within, like, something of the launch trailer for Street Fighter V, and if that does show up, you can also find it on this channel. Thank you, dudes, very much for watching. Thank you for hanging out. I'll be back with more Street Fighter V stuff as soon as possible. My name is Max, and I'll see you next time.